Hello and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm talking about the top 10 scary lost civilization theories. Spooky. So we're going to be talking about some wild theories circulating about confirmed extinct civilizations, and also some theories about some civilizations that may or may not have ever existed. Maybe we're yet to find them. Are you with me? Before we get into this video, I want to ask you guys what your favorite historic civilization is. Mine are definitely the Romans. They knew how to party. They loved to banquet, and I can get on board with that. Although, I do still have some love and reserve for the sneaky Egyptians. Loved a good curse, didn't they? Do let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Also, while you're down there, why don't you leave a thumbs up on this video and share it with a friend? Also, why don't you check out the links to our most amazing Instagrams in the description box and stick around to the end of the video, but I'm going to be reading out some comment responses. Ooh. Alright, coming in at number 10, we have Atlantis. Whether or not Atlantis is real, we just don't know. It's a legendary city that is mentioned in a number of pieces of Greek literature, including by the late great philosopher Plato. It is said that Atlantis was a thriving city filled with affluence and positivity. That was until it sank. Atlantis was said to have sunk into the sea in a single day and night. There has been a lot of speculation as to where the city may be. Many think it may be in the Strait of Gibraltar between Africa and Spain. If Atlantis was real, it would be over 11,000 years old. Did the people sink and drown? We don't know. Coming in at number 9, we have the Mayans. The Mayans were an ancient civilization developed by the Maya people. The population lived in southeast Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, parts of Honduras, and El Salvador. Mayan structures still remain, including Mexico's famous Chichen Itza. The Mayan era began somewhere around 2000 BCE and lasted until around the 8th or 9th century AD. There were 19 million people in the civilization, which was a significant proportion of the world population at the time. Now, we don't know the real reason for the extinction. The most sensible theories include drought caused by overlogging, but there are wilder theories out there. Some think that overfarming meant eventually people starved. Others say that Mayan rulers killed each other in wars, and others think disease was the main culprit. However, there are some pretty juicy articles out there that suggest the Mayans had contact with aliens, and somehow extraterrestrials were their undoing. Sure. A lot of people also think that the answer lies in the blue hole of Belize, an underwater cave yet to be fully explored. I love me an underwater cave. Coming in at number 8, we have the lost people of Easter Island. The Rapa Nui of Easter Island were the ancient islanders who built the stone figures you have likely seen in pictures. How they managed to build these busts using their limited resources, we just don't know. But how they died out is even more mysterious and makes up talking points in Jared Diamond's best-selling book, Collapse. Easter Island is a small patch of land, roughly 63 square miles in size, and it once had a thriving population. When Captain James Cook found them in the 1700s though, they were on the cusp of extinction. The main theory is that they destroyed the island's ecosystem by cutting down too many trees. Another theory is rats. Rats may have infested the island and destroyed crops. Others say disease wiped them out. Coming in at number 7, we have the Aztecs. In 1545, the Aztec Empire of Central America began to fall when 90% of its population died of mysterious diseases. It seems that up to 17 million people died in the Aztec Empire, which was a massively significant proportion of the Earth's population back then. In Aztec records, they simply referred to the downturn in fortune as Cocolitzi, or pestilence. From accounts at the time, people got a fever, blotchy skin, they started vomiting and bleeding out of their eyes and nose. Horrendous. What this mystery illness was had a lot of historians scratching their heads, but in 2018, a new study concluded that it actually may have been a widespreading of salmonella. Salmonella, of course, is severe food poisoning, and if it's untreated, it can lead to death. It is possible that Spanish invaders introduced salmonella to ancient-day Mexico when they brought in livestock from Europe. Coming in at number 6, we have the Indus Valley Civilization. The Indus Valley Civilization was a Bronze Age civilization in the northwest regions of West Asia. It seems they lived between 3300 BCE and 1300 BCE, and they were one of the 4 civilizations of the Old World. Now, sadly, it seems that the civilization died out abruptly. Very abruptly, which has raised a few historic eyebrows. There are a number of theories in circulation, and they include land drying and desert encroaching on farmland. farmland. Others think flooding destroyed the land and brought about disease in its wake, but then on the flip side, some people think that changing river patterns led to drought. Others think they died in wars. They were thought to be a very peaceful civilization not equipped for fighting. Others say that some survived and simply dissipated. We just don't know. Coming into number 5, we have the lost souls of the North Sea. In 2018, evidence of a lost human civilization was discovered under the North and Baltic Seas. It seems that the settlement discovered by archaeologists is being dubbed the Swedish Atlantis, and it could define a whole era of human development that we just don't know about. Right now, a team of geologists, archaeologists, and anthropologists on board a ship are excavating a sandbank on the North Sea floor measuring about 30 kilometers. What may have happened to the people who lived there? We simply don't know. Another massive mystery at number 4, we have the lost colony of Roanoke. What happened to the Roanoke is a complete and utter mystery. In 1585, a small group of settlers made Roanoke Island off the coast of North Carolina their home, although many left when they found the conditions to be unsatisfactory. In 1587, 2 years later, 115 English settlers came to join those who were left, but weirdly, they found that no one was there. They didn't seem too disturbed by it though, they thought they just, went away. At the time, the colony decided to send their governor, John White, back to England to gather fresh supplies and fresh settlers to expand the colony. Now, when he returned back to the colony where his wife and daughter were, I may add, 3 years later, he found no trace of the inhabitants. Now, this is the second time that this had happened. The only clue he found was the word Croatan written on a wooden post. Croatan? How strange. Where did the settlers of the Roanoke go? They were never ever seen again. Now, some theorists say that they were killed by a Native American tribe, although the fact that there was no trace of their bodies is very suspicious. There was no trace of a fray either. Others say they decided to sail back to England for some reason or another and they got lost at sea, although why would they not leave a message letting their returned governor know? I just don't know. It's very deeply unsettling that this happened twice. Were they simply abducted? Did they just vanish into thin air? Was it a time portal? Coming in at number 3, we have Under the Ice. Some theorists believe that there is an ancient civilization trapped under the thick ice of Antarctica, and it may well be the case. Antarctica didn't always used to be frozen. Now, the deep freeze started happening around 23 million years ago. 160 million years ago, it separated from Africa, and back then it was by and large a pretty hospitable place to live. We know that the first humans as we know them came from Africa, but what if before that they were living in the area of land that used to be connected to Africa and then became Antarctica, but we'll never know about them because they're buried under ice. It's a theory for sure. Now, some people think that they have spotted man-made structures under melting ice in Antarctica, which may be the evidence that theorists have been looking for. Coming in at number 2, we have the Martians. It has long been suspected that there was once life on Mars. While all of the scientific evidence we currently have seems to refute that, some people are convinced that the now very, very cold planet was once able to house life. They think that the Viking spacecrafts and the former Mars rovers Spirit and Opportunity even captured it on film. In 1976, Viking took one of the infamous pictures of Mars, the face on Mars photograph. In 2007, Spirit photographed a so-called Martian rock statue, adding to the list of so-called other statued sightings on the red planet. One of the last images pinged back from the now sadly shut down Opportunity rover appeared to show a bottle buried in the rocks. A lot of people think that Mars was once just like Earth but suffered some kind of cosmic catastrophe. Many people believe that when the Mars 2030 astronaut mission takes place, we will find clues that will help us understand our own place in the universe. Finally, coming in at number 1, one of my favorites, we have the lizard people and the Silurian hypothesis. A mind bender here for sure. The Silurian hypothesis asks the question, what if humans weren't the first civilization on Earth? Now, researchers from the University of Rochester alongside NASA have produced a paper that details how we might be able to tell if humans were the first civilization to arise. Basically, some people think that humans might not have been the first rulers of Earth. Now, if you're thinking the name Silurian sounds familiar, it is taken from Doctor Who. It's a mythical reptilian race who were on Earth before humans, but but they went into hibernation only to pop up again millions of years later. This also sounds a lot like Scientology, and you know what? Maybe Tom Cruise was right. Now NASA strongly doubts that there was an industrial civilization before ours, because we would be able to note it in geological records. However, the Earth's crust is pretty thick, so perhaps all of the rocks and glaciers that we've studied are only telling part of his story. Perhaps even deeper down, there are scary mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Ooh, I enjoyed this video. What did you guys think? Have you got any theories as to where these lost civilizations went? Let me know in the comments section down below. Are we gonna find life or former life on Mars? And do you think lizards were here first? I've got so many questions. Also, don't forget to let me know who your favorite ancient civilizations were. Were they the Romans like mine? Perhaps you have a penchant for the Greeks? Let me know in the comments section down below. Now, speaking of comments, I want to read out some comments that you guys left on my top 10 scary things found in the snow. You had a lot of opinions. Our channel member and popular commenter Dark Samurai said, "Snow is all great after it's melted. The weirdest or laziest thing I ever found was my neighbor's small car. He never used it or cleared it in the winter. That year we had a huge record full multiple times that year." So you telling me that like the car was buried in the snow? Is that what you're saying? Like, surprise car? Krista said that their favorite season is spring, but their allergies hate it. Honestly, I feel you there. I get so sneezy in the spring, but I love it. I'd take sneezing over freezing any day. I just made that up. Thoughts and feedback from Alice Willoughby next. She said, "Number 10. Yeah, gods, global warming is even more dangerous than I thought. The idea of ancient diseases coming back after being frozen for thousands of years and still being viable feels like something from the X-Files. I know, it sounds like it, but it's legit." She also said, "Number 5, poor kitty, I'm glad it survived. Honestly, me too. Hurrah for cats." And on that note, I think I'll end it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Do make sure you leave a thumbs up and a comment if you might want to be featured in a future video. Do share it, do all of the good things, tweet me, all of that. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. I love you. I'll see you soon. Thanks, bye.